I just finished Ray of Light ending, so I'm really happy about actually doing this review. Yamato Takeru. This unit, a lot of people thought this collab would happen. They didn't think Takeru was going to be the New Year's servant. I think the way they introduced Takeru as the New Year's servant, with them just showing him the Ritsuka doesn't understand and them being eating, just the classic Saber Remnant eating face, and that's how we find out they're the New Year's servant. I think that is like top tier marketing. But we're talking about how they perform in game, and my god, if you've seen some of the clips of like X-Naya, Plushy, them using Takeru, you'll already know how good of a looper they are. You're better off treating them as a single target with splash damage than you are an AoE, because that's how their looping works. They loop enough off one enemy that they, like, whether they're fighting more doesn't really matter. If you're using the optimal damage setup, double cast Soria Oberon, you have more than enough charge to be looping against single enemies. A comparison I want to make between Takeru and Muramasa. Muramasa is like an erudition unit from Honkai. Takeru is a destruction unit. Splash damage versus meant to be farming in normal scenarios. Argenti versus Jingliu. Yeah, so temper your expectations with that if you actually understand what that means. If you don't play Honkai, like Summer Abigail, how she does, she like debuffs one person, but she has an AoE MP, that same type of stuff. But Takeru does the debuffing on the MP. You just have to be a little more conscious. This unit has a little more to it than just loop, 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 loop. They can just loop, 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 but you do also have to be like somewhat aware. Base attack, nice and high. It's above 12k. That's already a good sign, but this is almost 1,000. No, this is 1,000 above the midpoint for 5 stars. It is. You are going to be having a real good time farming. That's all you have to know off the rip. HP, a lot lower in comparison. Like, there are some 4 stars that have this kind of HP, but it's not terrible. They have survivability, so below HP, it's not the biggest issue. Star weight, star gen, normal saber numbers, MP charge 0.3%. You would think this would be bad, but we have seen units like Summer Valks, Summer Ibuki that have below 0.4 gain and are some of the best loopers in the entire game. So this number, not that reflective of how they'll actually perform. The art scar, face scar performance, yeah, no, it's not going to be that good. 4 hits at 0.3. Unless you're critting, you're not going to be getting that much gain. But everything about the face cards is good. 4 hit quick, awesome. They can't gen much stars anyway. Better make it a good quick card, even if you only got 1. Also, this is Naoto Shirogane. If you're a Persona fan, this is Naoto Shirogane. This is... if only they had the same VA. Holy shit, that would be one of the best Easter eggs if the VA also voiced Naoto Shirogane. But I don't think that was actually going to happen because of Persona 3 Reload. I think the scheduling would have been a nightmare, because they would have had to revoice for 2. Oh, no. Naoto Shirogane. Oh my god, I just pegged that. Persona 3 is getting reloaded. Naoto is Persona 4. Big brain fart. Really, it's not that they don't do a good job. They do a very good job. It just would be, this joke would be funnier if Naoto also voiced it. So, first skill, the Bloodstained Prince. If you read through Samurai Remnant, this skill makes so much goddamn sense. They get stronger when those around them die, and they keep on going. That is as close to me explaining the lore for this part of the skill as I will get, because that it goes heavy spoiler. But for the rest of the skill, and for how most people are going to use this character, it's a one time 3-turn guts with 3k HP and a 30% battery. This is standard. We see skills like this all the time. This by itself would have been a skill, but they added this for more shenanigans you can have for Takeru. They are not a simple looper. They don't have ramp up. They don't need to be MPing every single time. You can mix in Habatrot, Changong, Arash, people that off themselves after their MPs or something, and Takeru will require less and less batteries to be able to perform. So using the Arash case, you, instead of popping the 20 battery on Takeru, you can freely pop it on Arash. Arash kills himself, and now you have even more battery than if you pop the Castoria skill 2 on Takeru. That I find is just funny. It's very fortunate that Takeru is an art servant for a skill like this, because if they were Buster, yeah, like Buster and Quick would have so much issues with this because their buffers don't do AoE stuff. Like you would be reliant on Taikobo, Taigon Wong. Yeah, that would be a good thing, but they made them arts. So Castoria OP, by the way. Second skill is really what distinguishes Takeru from okay. It's not the only thing, but this is a big thing. And it pairs really well with the super high hits on the MP. Power mod against Divinity and Power mod against Demonic. Demonic is one of the most common traits for crash tier mobs. Divinity is one of the most common traits for most boss enemies. So you have a skill that makes the farming just more consistent and you hit over to kill quicker, along with 30% crit. It's not Muramasa's 200% crit if you hit someone with an invul or dodge, or it might actually just be invul. But it's not that crazy 200% crit, but it is some crit. Castoria for damn sure isn't going to give him crit damage. So it's nice that they can get something. Third skill. Now, depending on your team, depends on when you are going to pop this skill. 30% arts is needed for looping. But if you're doing this kind of shenanigans, you might not even be popping the MP until turn 3. So why would you waste this when an Oberon can come in too? Right? You might not need Oberon for the node, but Oberon can still double this. So why not? If you have the chance, you can wait for turn 3 for this. Now for normal 3-3-3 looping, you aren't gonna want to hold on to this because this losing out on this arts buff might honestly affect your refund enough that you don't loop 100%. And depending on your team, you might not be planning to have extra charge in the kit. You are planning for Takeru to loop 100% because they definitely can do that. Don't let anything I say distract you. They can loop 100%. They aren't like a Space Ishtar where you need to pop like a 30 charge to get them back to full. They can loop 100%. I have seen them loop 100% with Paracelsus and 1 Castoria. They have the refund numbers. It just completely depends on do you have enough overkill. Passive skills, A, magic resist, so 20% debuff resistance. Riding A, quick performance up 10%. Divinity D for just a little tickle. Whether you're farming or multi-core, get this append. It will make your life 20 times easier. You will not need an MLB Lotto CE or an MLB Event CE to be able to start farming. You'll be able to do it off the rip. Start from 30 and you're good to go. You can do extra attack finesse. It's not a bad thing. I would probably pick it. Okay, so because Takeru actually might be used in more multi-core setups where enemy node structure might have different classes, there probably are going to be some nodes where they're hitting sabers as well as lancers or berserkers or something. So this isn't the worst pen to have. It's just if you plan on doing any kind of face guarding, you should probably just go for extra attack. This might just be a hold on, see what happens situation, but I always default mana loading and then extra attack at this point. It's either one of these two. This is rarely ever really coming up. NP, and here is the warning. You need to target either the highest health enemy or who is going to give you the most refund. Oh, coffee's starting to get cold. So, why is that important? Because this arts res down cannot be stopped unless the enemy has debuff resistance. Immunity, sorry, not resistance, immunity. 500% chance means nothing the enemy can build up is gonna stop this from landing. 50% arts res down is not something that commonly shows up in farming. Most units do not have arts any kind of res down. The biggest example I can think of is Samirami's, and that's on a skill, and she has to pay stars for that. I mean, one buff for her would be make it so that that thing procs every turn, and then her farming looks a whole lot better. But yeah, what allows Takeru to loop against one enemy and treat it like they're a single target servant in terms of refund and not an AoE is because of this. If you hit a caster enemy with this, you are going to refund significantly more than if you targeted a berserker, because casters just have way better refund, and berserkers, their HP is usually inflated because of the fact that every class has advantage against them. So usually the refund's always going to be scuffed on them to begin with. Defense down, it's more for following up on like extra damage. Like if you're in a challenge quest, this is going to matter a whole lot more. If you're in multi-core and Takeru is mostly just softening up the enemy, this is going to bite the enemy in the ass really hard. And probably one of the best use cases for this would be running Takeru with Summer Castoria, and Summer Castoria now has access to these buffs or debuffs when she doesn't. Her damage numbers never involve debuffs at all. Like this, running them together in multi-core is probably one of the biggest damage spikes that Castoria will get, because it's all new buffs for her. It is completely new stuff. Going to the mats, I don't think these are egregious. Dragon Fangs maybe a little, but that's me talking about my NA account where I'm like literally farming for these, or Made Altar. I'm gonna start with the pen. I don't think the pens are egregious. I think these are like very fair. It would take you maybe a week of natural AP to farm for these, maybe 2 weeks, but this is gonna take you a long ass time because it's completely dependent on drop rates, and you need ×3 for all these skills in the grand scheme of things anyway, over mostly needing one of these. If you are a whale, obviously you'll have more to level, but yeah. That's how it is. On CE, Divinity up for the party, 15%. Demonic up 15% for the party. So, let us bring up the damage numbers. Looping, MP damage. So, let us start with the MP damage. Takeru is at the top of single target. I mean AoE. Artoria is literally only here because of her buffed second skill, and that is one turn. Granted, that is back-to-back turns in buster farming, but that's still only one turn. A lot of this damage is gonna be there. This damage is gonna be there whether or not you even have buffs, because they only have one skill. Oh, sorry. They only have one skill that is actually going to affect their MP damage, and that's skill 3. The other two don't. It doesn't matter whether they're up or not. That's over here. So divine or demonic, they are on par with other units having their power mods active. But when you get into divine demonic, which it happens, there are some servants that are divine and demonic. They start just beating everyone in their classes, especially with niche. And most of those niches are significantly harder to proc. Arthur enemies, there's only a couple Lancers. So Mordred, but Mordred has a different farming system, so it's not the same. Sumanai, dragons is iffy. You might be fighting Lancer dragons. There's Vitra, so you can't say that there is no use case. There absolutely is a use case, and it's a pretty big one. And Sumanai is also a 4-star, so you're probably not sitting here, you're sitting somewhere around here. But for arts, this blows all of them out of the water. None of them are coming anywhere close. Shiki comes close because they just kill if they don't kill. Shiki's just gonna kill them whether they live or die. Ain't that a fate statement? When we come to Lupin damage, comparable. They are comparable. But both of these numbers don't show the whole story at all. Muramasa, if you constantly pop Castoria MPs, his damage goes through the fucking roof. Takeru, if you pop Castoria MPs, damage will go through the roof because they don't have any attack buffs. Neither of them have attack buffs in the kit. Muramasa, though, ramps up his arts buff. But Takeru, if you bring them to fight divine or demonic, damage is gonna spike way up. Not as much as you think. It's not gonna go up 100% because power mods add in to MP damage. So you're not even, you're maybe up, if it hits both of them, you're maybe upping your damage. Maybe, I couldn't even quantify it, because with you doubling the MP damage, you're sitting at Black Rail and then 150, so you're sitting at like 260% MP damage up, and then you add like 100% to that, so the damage isn't going to be that significant. But that is only going to be in Oberon setups. Damage is going to be screwy. Muramasa isn't so far behind Takeru, but Muramasa requires the nodes to be 333. Or you need to plan for you critting a wave down. If you are married to your, like, Muramasa, like they're your best arts looping saber, Takeru, they're good, but they're not throw Muramasa in the garbage good. They are very, very strong, but a well-invested Muramasa still is going to perform very well. Muramasa's kit is standard. And like most of the time, you're not thinking about bringing arts units to like 113. You'd mostly be doing that for a buster unit where you don't care about node structure. But if you are a big bond point farmer, I would say Takeru is a worthwhile investment. They can hit the damage numbers without requiring Black Rail. Because most units need Black Rail to hit the overkill quicker. Takeru, with all the power mods and the way their kit is designed, they are hitting overkill ridiculously quick, regardless of how many hits of their MP they have. Even if you put this kit on another like lower hit, like 5 hits, you would be seeing something similar in terms of refund. Like they'd be killing in first hit because of their power mods, and then they'd be going forward. Yeah, that's what I have to say about them. I'm very impressed with the one I have on JP, but mine's MP2. I will say, don't go for like an MP5 or something. We don't even know what the collab is going to be, and we might be getting Ruler Gil and Tamamo Arya, but I'd say Arya would be a support. All right, see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.